You are looking at our favourite for the Irish EBF Restricted Novices Stakes. It's Division 1 over 10 furlongs. This is Cloth of Gold. Jason Hart up for Charlie Johnston. The other Johnston runner, Mdawi, has come out. And it was going to be interesting to see which one of them was going to be vying for the lead, if not both. Well, I'd imagine Cloth of Gold from stall 1, the plan remains the same. Head forward, make use of that rail position. And given he's been quick away in both of his starts so far, you'd fancy it'd be the plan again. Second place finishes at Redcar over a mile on debut, then again at Southwell over that trip. Beaten favourite, I don't think he did a lot wrong. Just wasn't good enough against a smart winning debutant in Archie Watson's Port Light. He's stepping up in trip. The page points to that being a good call, and he's got an obvious chance in here for me. Behind him is number 7 in sequence, that's Reload. Sean Levy for Peter Chapelheim. Sole start was at Newmarket in early November when he was beaten 19 lengths. To be honest, he looked quite clueless, but you'd absolutely forgive it, wouldn't you? Because it was a debut. But he's stepping up markedly in trip now. The connections are wasting no time, putting him up an extra 3 furlongs. It looks a little far pedigree-wise for him. I guess pedigrees aren't everything. It's not an exact science, and maybe he'll appreciate it. But that would be a slight question mark for me. And he hasn't come in for much support on just his second start. By number 4, Captain Robert, Dan Muscat up for James Fanshawe. He's making his debut this evening. Indian Haven colt out of a Galileo mare is a homebred for Susie Pritchard-Jones. This is an interesting twist because you might have read before about this. This syndicate is an operation that are trying to ensure the Bailey Turk bloodline is carried on, moving trends generally focusing more on the Godolphin Arabian and the Dali Arabian, but the Bailey Turk, one of the founding 3 sires or sire types. This is another one coming from the family. It's a family that James Fanshawe knows extremely well. He's related to plenty of winners, this debutant. He might just need a little bit more time. He's quite a tall-looking sort, but maybe just a bit more time to fill out. But, I mean, he's not making his debut in a race that has an insurmountable level of form. But we are actually looking at number 3. Number 4 is on the far side. So all of that applies to number 4. This is number 3 in front of us. This is Vilaine, Neil Callan for Mark Usher. The only winner in the field. She had a lot of racing in the context of this race. One of a course and distance. Scored in a nursery here in October. Having course and distance form is undoubtedly a big positive, but she already has a mark in the high 60s. Is that going to be good enough to take a hand under a winner's penalty back in restricted novice company? You'd be a little bit concerned for me, but that having that form here is a definite positive, and she proved that she stays that far. Neil Callan up for Mark Usher. So they're all heading down. The final 2 are about to leave the paddock. Jockeys Sean Levy and Neil Callan about to get their legs up on their respective mounts for Division 1 of the Irish EBF Restricted Novice Stakes over 10 furlongs. Thanks, Angus. I think the race is slightly... Well, it's slightly lessened by not having the stablemate Mdawi in there. Was looking forward to seeing if he could take another jump forward, but alas, we don't. We've just got the stablemate Cloth of Gold, and he's a prohibitive odds, to say the least. It's going to be interesting to see about the horses who both have marks in here. Ruling Master, clearly they think a better effort could be in the offing. Maybe the surface will suit more than the soft ground did at Redcar last time. Captain Robert, he's not going to have to be too special. He's related to plenty of winners. Very interesting backstory about that as we were going into in the paddock. And Vilaine already has the course form in the book. It's just whether she's up to under the winner's penalty in this kind of grade against horses that usually she'd be getting weight from, but some of them she's running on the same terms and having to give the weight away off just a mark that she's rated 68. And obviously that doesn't come into play here. Is 68 good enough to win one of these races? It could well be, but we've got a very strong favourite in Cloth of Gold. Up to Alan.
Thanks, Anthony. Set to go. And they're off, racing away. A little bit of a slow start there from Crimson Velvet, coming out of stall number 4 for this Division 1 of the Irish EBF Restricted Novice Stakes over the 1.25 miles. Ruling Master running about a bit there, just in behind Cloth of Gold, who has the early advantage, the odds-on favourite, in the hands of Jason Hart with a lap to go. So Cloth of Gold coming up by us 3 parts over Ruling Master is quite keen in the early going, racing around the opening turn. Vilaine is next on the inside, that red jacket with the white cap. Having started a bit slowly, Crimson Velvet is now just in behind the early speed, and a dispute for 4th. Expect anything moving out towards that one's outside now. Second from back is Reload under Sean Levy in those blue and white colours. And in dark blue and yellow, the debutant Captain Robert is at the rear of the field under Danny Musket. So down the far side then, and it's Cloth of Gold, runner-up in both of his starts so far, trying to make it third time lucky that leads by about a length. Ruling Master has now settled down a bit there in second, with Vilaine, a previous course and distance winner back in October, in third. Then came Expect Anything and Adam Farragher wider out from Crimson Velvet just in behind in those 3 silks. Next on the running rail is Reload, and then came Captain Robert. About to exit out of the back then, and it's Cloth of Gold. Cloth of Gold by 3/4 of a length again from Ruling Master in second. Expect Anything running towards the outside of Vilaine. They're third and fourth. Then came Crimson Velvet, who's been encouraged along. Reload is losing ground. Captain Robert is trying to stay on a bit as they run towards the top of the home straight inside the final 1/4 of a mile. It's Cloth of Gold who has the lead. Ruling Master, though, is sticking to the task. Vilaine thinking about switching to the outside. We'll have to now as the gap's closed up. Cloth of Gold is ridden out. He's all out now. Here comes Ruling Master, and down the outside here the filly Vilaine is also finishing well. It's Ruling Master hanging towards the inside, has hampered Cloth of Gold late on as Vilaine goes on to win the race. Vilaine from Ruling Master. Cloth of Gold didn't seem to get home in the end in third. Then came Captain Robert, who's stuck on late.
A turn up in Division 1 of the novice. It's gone the way of Vilaine, who has won once again over course and distance. Bounced back from not enjoying the soft ground at Newmarket last time. Previously a winner here in Nursery Company, and now a restricted novice winner in her own right as well. Back in behind, an improved effort from Ruling Master, who looked best placed to take full command once Cloth of Gold seemingly didn't find a massive amount off the front end, and that's a very disappointing effort from the favourite, who controlled the pace and had even slackened it as we were coming to this point. 12.8, one of the sectionals as they were coming in. But he's just got his head to one side and he's not really going forward. He looks a little bit awkward once he's asked for maximum effort from Jason Hart. Ruling Master seemed to be in the perfect position, but this plucky filly, who doesn't have the size and scope of some of the others, has come round down the outside and has shown a great tenacious attitude once again to get ahead back in front. She was experienced in the context of this race. No one had her experience, not least course and distance form. And we were wondering, Angus, whether a mark of 68 or a horse rated 68 would be good enough to win them, but it can happen in these December